Hello, everyone. Thumbs up if you can hear me or give me a wave. Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to see you. And I was really not sure what to expect today. So far, we have 67 folks. It's Memorial Day weekend in the US. And usually people are out and about doing things. And I don't know about you, but it's very gray here in Colorado Springs. I did get out very early this morning and went out for a good long walk. But allegedly, it's going to snow somewhere in Colorado tonight. So happy Memorial Day. And for those of you who have served, happy Memorial Day to you tomorrow. And to all of you who have joined us, welcome. If you are new to my online cooking classes, and if you're new to Zoom, if you look at the bottom of your window, you're going to see a chat balloon. And that is how you can talk to me and you can talk to one another. I see Sharon. I see some folks have already started to tell us, I love to know, tell me where you're from. I see Colorado and Minnesota and Pennsylvania. Got lots of folks. Tennessee, Seattle, Westchester. Hi, Allison. Allison and I are old homies. I used to live in Westchester County, New York as well. Naperville. Oh, I was back in the day engaged to a dude who lived in Naperville. Spent a lot of time there, but we didn't get married. So good news for Dave, right? Or not. It depends on the day, probably. Argentina. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So a couple of things I want to tell you as we get started. People are starting to come in. We're doing a giveaway today. So first, if you do not live in the US or in Canada, please accept my apologies. I have no control over where this giveaway can be, where they can send the multi-cooker. So just wanted to tell you that, sorry. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, we are doing a giveaway today. It's actually going to be this, well, not this one, this is mine. This is a Melfi multi-cooker that does pressure cooking, rice cooking, steaming, sauteing, yogurt, etc. And at some point during class today, I'm going to take a look at who responded to the survey, which was entry number 1. And so I'm going to drop you a link right now if you want to fill out the survey. Oh, you guys are still, I wish I could keep these chats so I could see where everybody is. So this looks like a clickable link to me. So sometimes you guys say that when I put a link in the chat that you can't click it. And I don't know what to do about that, but it looks like a clickable link to me. Oh, hey, Lynn, nice to see you. So anyway, this giveaway is for this multi-cooker. If you live in Canada or the US, you are eligible to win. And what will happen is at some point during this class, I will go to the spreadsheet. You'll all see it, complete transparency. I'll do it in the number, the order in which people entered. And if you're here in the class and I picked your email address, you're the winner. So today we are, oh good, I'm glad the link worked. So for those of you who are new and maybe watching later on YouTube, my name is J.L. Fields. And I live in Colorado Springs. I'm a vegan cookbook author. I founded the Colorado Springs Vegan Cooking Academy years ago, and in March, obviously closed down, as did most of the world, due to the pandemic. And I immediately started teaching cooking classes online, vegan cooking classes on Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Haven't missed one yet, not planning on missing one yet. And so this giveaway, if you're watching on YouTube, it's over, y'all, sorry. So, but you should go check out Melfi, they're cool. So today's class is a little bit different. Oh, I should step back because you guys like to know what my t-shirts say, and I always forget that sometimes you can't. So animals are not fabric. Just a gentle reminder that my veganism in the kitchen is not the heart of my veganism. My veganism is about justice for all beings, and that includes animals. And so I don't like to eat them or wear them or use them as much as possible as I can in this world. So anyway, I don't even think whoever makes this is still around. Just wanted to let you know. Hey, Bethany, thank you. Bethany asked how my father's doing. He was recently diagnosed with cancer and he's going through treatment. As well as could be expected, he's starting his 3rd round of chemo this week. And he was told at his last appointment that he shouldn't expect to be able to be around any of his family anytime soon because the doctors are taking the 2nd wave of COVID-19 very, very seriously. So I am sad to say I have no idea when I'm going to be able to go back to Illinois to see him. But thank you for asking. I appreciate that. And once again, got through that without crying. Woo! Okay, so today's plan is a little bit different. So this is, I think it's the 10th class. that I have done with you guys on vegan cooking. And today what I wanted to do was some cooking and some basic Q&A. And that was the purpose of the survey, was to kind of find out from you the kinds of things you'd like to know about vegan cooking. And let me just tell you, I'm looking right now and I see that now 88 people have responded. And many of you have very similar questions. And many of you have questions that I could never try to tackle. And I'm definitely not going to respond here to any questions around nutrition, healthcare, etc., because I'm just a home cook who took a few classes, wrote a few cookbooks, and then turned into a chef. I do not have a nutrition background. My veganism isn't rooted in nutrition. It's rooted in trying to eat in a way that aligns with my personal ethics. And I know lots of you are here for other reasons. And I think it's awesome. I think it's cool that we're all here together. But I just want to be clear that I would never try to be an expert on something that I'm not. So I'll do the best to answer as many questions as I can as we go. And I did make a list of the questions that came before. So all of you who are filling it out right now to enter the giveaway, bless your hearts, I will definitely not get to your questions today because I'd already cut and pasted them into my notes. So I hope you understand. But you also gave me some really fun ideas for some classes you'd like to see in the future. And I'm going to talk about that during the class. So today what I wanted to do from the demo side of things was just show you how you can simply prepare vegetables. Like I think sometimes we kind of, I don't know, like maybe overthink it a little bit. And that's not from a place of judgment. I did the same thing. Like, how do I make vegetables delicious? Well, first off, it turns out they're pretty darn good anyway. But I think we all are trying to find different ways to add flavor, complexity, texture. And as I saw from many of you who are asking questions about vegan cooking, many of you are living in homes in which you are possibly the only vegan or the only plant-based eater. And you're trying to find this compromise and this bridge of creating meals that makes everyone happy. So that's what I thought I would try to do today, is just show you some very simple ways to use some of the vegetables you're going to start getting out of your own garden, or you're going to get out of your CSA or your produce delivery or at your grocery store as you buy locally. So that's my plan for today. And I did give you a list, let's see if I can find them, of ingredients, but you all know me, I think, well enough now to know that I'm the worst. And that I change my mind all the time. Oh wait, people are talking. Oh, sorry. Oh, thank you, Nancy. I appreciate that. Someone's talking about dehydrating. Oh, and you guys, sorry, I'm probably not gonna be able to look at a lot of these questions. So if you really want me to answer them later, you'll have to ask again. So here's what we're gonna be doing with some zucchini. And I'm gonna start with that first. And then we'll move on to the romaine salad. And when that happens, if I forget to list the ingredients, you guys remind me, okay? So, so zucchini. I've confessed before that I didn't used to love zucchini. In fact, I disliked it very much. There's a restaurant here in Colorado Springs. By the way, did you guys hear? Colorado Springs, El Paso County can now, effective today, open up their restaurants. Lots of them are not. I'm not rushing out to them. I'm going to keep carrying out because I'm trying to stay safe for my dad. But anyway, it's happening. And there's a restaurant here in Colorado Springs called Jake and Telly's that I absolutely adore. And they have this amazing vegetarian platter that with a few tweaks turns into a vegan platter. And they do these grilled vegetables. And I used to not really enjoy eggplant, and I didn't used to enjoy yellow or squash or zucchini. And so I would just say, can I just have the grilled onion? And they're like, you don't want any of the other vegetables? I'm like, I literally do not want any of the other vegetables. But I want to say that I've put on my big girl pants over the last few months, and I've tried to embrace summer squash, and I'm feeling really good about it. So I'm going to show you today how I have been enjoying cooking my zucchini. Okay, so I'm going to spiralize mine today, and I realize that not everyone has a spiralizer. So I want to show you a technique if you don't have a spiralizer. And if you don't know what I mean by a spiralizer, it's a way to spiralize vegetables, right? So like if you were to make curly potatoes, you could curl up your potatoes and like make shoestring potato, fried potatoes, or you can make zucchini noodles, which I'm going to make today. And I used to have the hand crank one where you kind of like insert the vegetable and then you put this blade over here and then you start going like this. And it just wasn't working very well for me. And then I discovered that my Ninja, I use a Ninja food processor here. Honestly, sorry, Ninja, I love you. Not my favorite. My favorite's at my cooking academy. It's my Breville sous chef, which is massive. But I live in a very tiny condo, so I don't have a lot of space. So I enjoy the size of this Ninja food processor. Well, anyway, they have this carafe that's specifically designed around using the Spiralizer for different kinds of noodles. So I can put this here. This is my blade. There are two different kinds of blades that they have. Like they have a fettuccine one and a spaghetti one. And I don't even know which one I grabbed today. I'm not gonna lie. And then what happens is I put this on top, and then, oh, I always do it wrong. And then I'll be putting my vegetable on top and it'll spiralize into the craft. So that's what I'm gonna use today. Anybody here using a Spiralizer today? Just let me know because I'm always curious. Oh, and while you're doing that, let me know in the chat. I should give out a shout out to our buddy, Jeff. You notice we did not have a beer. People are doing it later again, that's fine. For a couple weeks, we were doing a collaboration with Local Relic, which is a local brewery here in town with Jeff. And he would give us some beer and wine recommendations each week, but they're really busy getting geared up for some new things at Local Relic, as well as getting ready to reopen. So I'm trying to give the dude a break. So in his honor, I'm having today an oatmeal Brett. So if you're having kombucha or sparkling water or beer or wine, cheers. I saw you, Laura. Cheers. Okay, so Laura has a simple, a hand spiralizer, hand crank, haven't used it. Okay, so some of you guys are gonna use it. So I'm gonna show you how I actually first started doing this recipe, and it was before I remembered that I had the Spiralizer for my Ninja. So I'm just gonna show you a little bit because I really do wanna spiralize this. So let's just take off a little. So pretend like this is half of your zucchini, right? What I did was I would just cut this in half and then I would just keep going like this to make little strips. So you can make some really nice thin strips, and then you can, I think you can see it. Then I take these strips and then I go like this. So I'm kind of making them into sticks like julienne instead of spiralizing, but you get the idea. So it gives you sort of the same thinner piece. It's gonna absorb the flavor. So does that make sense? I see a few heads. So if that makes sense, nod your head. Okay, I saw a couple head nods. Awesome. But since I already started this, why not finish this other part? I keep trying to make sure you can see. I think you can. Oh, here we are. So I'm going to go like this. So I'm going from the top down. Notice where I'm keeping my fingers so I don't cut myself. I'm using what they call the claw. So if I came down on my knife right now, I can't even get the tips of my fingers. And then I'm going to stack these on top and continue to make these little sticks. A wide peeler is a fine idea. If you have a wide peeler, someone asked, you can totally do that. I hope you also notice that I kept the peel on. I rarely take the peel off any of my veggie. Well, I mean for garlic, onion, of course, but I really enjoy getting the color, the texture, and the nutrients that we can find in a lot of the peel. So let me just finish this last piece and then I'm going to spiralize real quick, but I'm also going to get something going. So some of the questions that you guys had for me on the survey, actually, I'm going to try to kind of address as I'm cooking today when it makes sense. So first one, a lot of people ask me about oil-free cooking. So I'm about to tell you something that's going to make some of you pass out. But let me preface it first. No food shaming is allowed in this chat. And if it happens, I want someone to message me and tell me it's happening because I'm going to stop it. Because what I mean by that is if it's vegan, it's A-okay here. I do vegan cooking classes. I don't do health cooking classes. And we don't try to tell other people how to eat or live within their vegan world or ethic, right? So having said that, I have many times in the past said, you know, I don't really do like the no salt, no oil, etc. cooking. And I don't, so other people don't panic. I'm just going to say my next book project is actually going to be sort of a bridge of those worlds. So it's going to be interesting. And I've been playing around a lot with different kinds of seasonings and things like that. So I'm going to show you one of the techniques I've been using lately. So a lot of people had said, how can we cook oil free? And again, I do use oil. You're going to see me use oil in a little bit, but I'm strategically not cooking my zucchini in oil. There is going to be some added fat later. So, okay, it's a cooking class and I'm here for the flavor and I want it to taste really delicious for you. And it can be quite flavorful with or without lots of things, but I'll show you what I'm going to use later. But today, what I'm going to do is actually saute the zucchini in balsamic vinegar. Now, those of you who've taken my classes over the last 10 weeks, why do I love vinegar? Any kind of vinegar? Tell me in the chat. Someone knows. Umami, of course. So we're adding a meatiness to this. So I'm just adding, this is probably, I don't know, 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. So that's how I'm going to saute my zucchini. So I'm actually going to get my skillet going. And I mean, I want it on medium high because I want to just get that balsamic going a little bit because there's going to be a little reduction since we're using the vinegar. And then I'll go ahead and spiralize my zucchini. So I've got my guy ready. I don't want to forget these other pieces. So what I do is I set this in and I nestle it right on that little hole that was going to make the zucchinis that was on top, and then I'm going to press it. And on this with the Ninja, it literally just has go because it's the only thing it can do. So instead of chopping, it's going to spiralize because of the blade. All right, so I just spiralized. I'm going to keep this. I always keep all the good stuff. Why not just chop that up, right? We'll add that in, but I know you want to see how this came out. Some of you might have seen I was on Living Local this week on Fox 21 in Colorado Springs. So I was giving a little teaser about this class. Hey, if any of you are here because of that, let me know. And Desiree, I see your question about umami, and I'm going to ask you to ask me later when I sit down for the Q&A, if you don't mind, because I really do want to talk about it again for those of you who are new to it. If you are here because you saw the Fox 21 segment, will you let me know? I never really know if people see those. Okay, so couple of things. If you're interested in the Ninja, that is like their full process. Like you see the box in Target, I think it's like this big and it's got everything. And it's got these processor pieces. But what I like about it is inside. So this is clean. Like I don't have to wash that. It's done because I have this sweet little thing already. So here are my noodles. Aren't those fun? So the reason I wanted to do these noodles for you guys today is because a lot of people like the idea of zucchini noodles. Let's just be honest and talk about that. And the reason is because a lot of people are trying to avoid carbs or maybe less processed carbs. And I like, I like me some pasta. In fact, I make pasta. I don't think I've ever pointed out to you guys, this is actually a pasta maker for 2 people. So I can just put a little flour and water in it and make enough spaghetti or elbows or whatever for one night of dinner for Dave. And I absolutely love it. Should I do a class on that? Let me know. So anyway, so yeah, Bethany, so we said, yes, of course it means you have to buy another appliance, you guys. Sorry, maybe I should have a special appliance class where it's like, okay, so we already talked about the air fryer and the multi-cooker, but here are some other ones that I use. Oh, yummy. So my balsamic vinegar is just starting to sizzle. And there was a point. Oh yeah, so I feel like people overcook their zucchini noodles, which is why they don't like zoodles. So zoodles, when you see that, zoodles are zucchini noodles. And they really, come on, think about it, you guys. You would have also just chopped this zucchini up and dipped it into some dip, right? Because we eat zucchini raw. So I tend to think of, if there are vegetables that we really enjoy raw, sometimes we don't need to overcook them. It's not like we have to worry about we're going to get sick from it, right? From the cooking. So I want definite al dente zucchini noodles. And so I'm not going to use it for marinara like traditional pasta today. I'm actually going to turn it into a salad that I'm really excited about. And that reminds me, I should start something else. So that tells me, yes, appliances and other gadgets. Kat, if you haven't filled out that survey yet, add that to that for future classes. I think that's a great idea. Okay, so this is nice and sizzly. So I want to get my zucchini in. And the balsamic is already kind of cooking up. So I want you guys to see this. I'm going to put these sticks in here too. And I was going to use some salt, but you know what? I'm not going to, simply because I'm going to get tons of flavor from this balsamic. But what I am going to do is add some red pepper flakes. So I'm just going to sprinkle some red pepper flakes in here. And you're going to see that this is destined for another recipe. So I'm just going to kind of move this around. Let me move some of this stuff that doesn't look pretty out of the way. Oh, there's another piece of zucchini. Okay, so I am just like quickly doing a saute. And so I'm just covering it and making sure that the balsamic is coating it. So you guys, the balsamic is gone. It started to reduce before I even got the vegetable in there. The veggies are just getting nice and kind of tender crisp. And I don't want to overcook them, but I want to start another process that it doesn't need to finish in order for me to finish this recipe. So you guys, you could have this right now as a side dish with anything. And so you could just either slice them, do ribbons like someone mentioned with a peeler, or do these zoodles, and you could just put them right next to a piece of baked tofu and some brown rice. It's just a perfect yummy veggie. They're done. I'm going to stop cooking. I do not want them to overcook. So I want you to see what this looks like, and it smells amazing. And so by using that balsamic vinegar that reduced a little bit, I've done this oil free. Now I'm going to have a little fat that's about to make an appearance though. Okay, so let's set this aside for a minute so I can show you what I decided to do today. So I had a bunch of vegetables. My produce delivery is on Mondays. Oh, I should take a break. My produce delivery is on Mondays. So I freak out on Saturdays and Sundays, like, oh my God, what vegetables have I not used yet? And one of them was sweet corn. Totally forgot that we got corn last week. So I started thinking about what I was going to do with these zucchini noodles for you today. And I started looking at some of the questions you guys had about making food that's yummy for your non-vegan partner, using some creative ways to add flavor, etc. So here's what I decided to do. So, and especially since we're doing a giveaway today for this Melfi multi-cooker, I put some, so you guys know I have a crisp lid, which is also by Melfi, and you can put that on top of a 6-quart or 8-quart pot of any variety and turn it into an air fryer. So what I did was, let's see if I can find another pair of tongs. I used the air fryer basket and the air fryer trivet, and I put about a half a cup of water at the bottom, and I steamed this corn. Well, I didn't steam it. I used pressure, high pressure, 3 minutes, quick release, and to basically to steam it. So I had water at the bottom. I put this in the air fryer basket, and then I did 3 minutes, high pressure, quick release. Then I removed the water and I put the corn back in, and I already did half of it. So I'm just going to show you the other half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to air fry it. But what I did was I melted a little vegan butter and I added some chipotle chili to it. So I'm going to baste the corn with a little vegan butter chipotle flavor, and then I'm going to air fry it to roast the corn. So I'm going to get that going right now. And I'm just going to use this silicone brush to brush it on. And in case I forget to mention it, I'm going to do it for 10 minutes on 425 because mine goes to 425. Yours might not. Do it on 400, and you might want to do it for 10 minutes or not. Honestly, the amount of time at that point, we're doing it for color to make it, we eat with our eyes first. So I'm trying to kind of give it that roasty, charred look, but I mean, I already steamed it. It's done in like 5 minutes or so. So I'm doing a little cooking to finish it off and to make it look beautiful. So I'm going to put this crisp lid on top, and then I'm going to set it for 425, and the time I'm going to do 10 minutes. And then what I'm going to do is set my timer, and in 5 minutes, I'll turn it around a little bit. But surprise, I'm getting better at this, you guys. It's only taken 10 weeks, but what I did was I already did some of it in advance. So what I have in this bowl is some of the corn already done. So this is roasted chipotle buttered corn, vegan butter naturally, cilantro, black beans straight out of the can, y'all. Nothing's done to them, just rinsed and drained, and some red onion. And now, let's go over here so you can see. I'm going to take these zucchini noodles and just put them right in this salad. And so let's go through it again. The flavor profiles we've hit. We've got balsamic vinegar, which is our umami. And Desiree, I promise I will not forget you. But umami brings out meatiness from the food we cook. And it's the secret ingredient to plant-based cooking. So I've got balsamic vinegar, I've got red pepper flakes, I've got chipotle. So you see we've got some spicy going on. And then I've got this fresh, black beans that are right out of the can. So they're not overcooked, they're not hot, we're at room temperature. I've got crisp red onion, and I've got the cilantro. And I'm just going to mix it like this with my tongs. It might be the first time I ever ate during a class because, you know, honestly, I'm hungry and I just might plate this and eat this. So you could do chunks of the zucchini if you wanted to, but I just love the way the textures are different. So we have chopped, we've got small bites, we've got these crazy little noodles, and then I'm gonna put a little lime juice. And trust me, I'm gonna squeeze a lemon in a minute, but y'all, there's no shame in having a little juice ready to roll. And so I'm just going to take a little lime juice to finish it off, more acid to go with this, and that just kind of makes the umami pop. So let me plate this for you, and then I will stop because I think I see some questions. So let's go blue. So I'm just going to plate this, get some of these bright colors on top. I should start taking pictures of the food that I make, huh? Maybe more people would come to the classes. How many do we have? 112. Okay, look at that, you guys. What do you think? Isn't that the kind of thing that would be so much fun to put on your plate tomorrow for your, if you're going, well, I don't know if you're going anywhere or not. It depends on what state you're in. Or if you're in a pod. Have you guys heard about these pods? I'm totally into these pods. I think I'm going to start interviewing friends. People are doing social pods where it's like a group of friends agree that they're the pod, like that they're going to like follow the same social distancing agreements and then they can get together for dinner. Anyway, I'm like, you know, I'm totally into it. I'm going to start interviewing people to make sure that they meet my standards. But anyway, if I were having a pod barbecue tomorrow, it would be this. So what do you guys think of this recipe? Someone just said I'm Food Network level now. That was hilarious. I'm going to try a bite. Oh, you're going to try it tomorrow, Bethany. Great. So look at those noodles. It's like having spaghetti. Let me do a little bit of this. All right, this might get messy and I'm not even embarrassed. But I want a bite of all of the good stuff. I live for cilantro. If you hate cilantro, don't worry about it. You guys, I'm sorry. That was delicious. And I made that up today. There's a point. Made that up. I know for a lot of you, this is new. And so I just realized that my big monitor over here makes me look like a ghost. Hi! If you guys wondered why all this light, it's not sunny in Colorado. It's very gray in here. So anyway, just today, I was just thinking about some of the questions you guys were asking. You were asking about, you know, sort of like salt-free cooking or oil-free cooking or how to make flavor pop, or you don't know how to bring flavors together. And so I know I said it before, but I think it's worth repeating when we think what's in this salad. The only added salt is actually also added fat, and it's the vegan butter. I did see somebody ask the question. I used Earth Balance. I love Miyoko's as well. I've also used Country Crock has a plant-based one now, and I like it a lot, and I think Smart Balance does too. And let's see. Okay, Desiree, thanks for sharing that. Maybe during the Q&A, we can talk about that a little bit, about flavors and having cravings. So food processor brand that you recommend. So Hemana, here's the thing. This is a Ninja and I love it because the price point is excellent and I have all kinds of attachments that go with it. And it can be a blender, it's a food processor. You saw that it's a spiralizer. And so I enjoy it. I use it here at home. I love my Breville Sous Chef. It's very expensive. It's big. So if you have a big family or you make big quantities of food, you can get a lot done. Excuse me for a minute. I'm going to flip my corn over. Oh, it's just starting to char. Very nice. I mean, we don't really need it anyway. I'll probably eat this with dinner tonight. Let's keep going, but we don't want to go for 10 minutes. And so the Breville Sous Chef, I really like a lot because, sorry, I just want to make sure I don't do this too much. Okay, there we go. I think we're fine. And it almost reminds me of the kind of how intense a Vitamix is. So if you've got the money for it and you need something nice and big, I'm a huge fan of the Breville Sous Chef. And for a nice middle of the road, decent price point with a lot of flexibility, I really like the Ninja. Okay, so again, I wanted to go unsalted for baking. Jennifer's asking about, I'm trying to stay focused today. Jennifer's asking about unsalted butter for baking. And no, and I just wrote a baking book. It's right back there. I'm going to show it to you later. And I actually just, made adjustments based on the butter that I recommended in the book. So I use a little less salt as a result of that. But no, I haven't seen, because I think when they're making vegan butter, they're thinking about flavor and wanting people to enjoy it and eat it. And the salt does bring some flavor to it. Okay, some of these questions, you guys, let's hold on until I make the next recipe. And then I actually have a chair and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do a Q&A with you, I promise. But it's hard for me to keep up and do the demo at the same time. I hope you understand. Okay, so the next recipe, I guess I will tell you now, this is the time I guess I can do this. First off, a reminder, we have 95 people who have entered the giveaway. I'm going to do this link one more time, so this is it. And then some of you have been very kind and gracious over the last 10 weeks and have been giving me tips on Sunday, and you have no idea how much I appreciate it and how much it helps. So there's the link if you want to do tips. And then I'm about to use a cast iron grill pan. And so I'm going to give you a link to one on Amazon. The brand I actually have is an Emerald brand, but the link I have for you is Lodge. I have a couple Lodge cast irons too. Now, the truth of the matter is I love to do this next recipe on a grill. And you can absolutely do this outside on your gas or your charcoal grill. But I'm not ready for prime time yet to take you guys outside. And I'm actually really glad because it's supposed to rain later and or snow. Who knows? Hello, Colorado. So me being out on the deck today would have been not a good idea. So I'm glad I trusted my instincts. So here are the ingredients for what we're about to do. And this is a warm salad. And so this, Desiree, is the perfect opportunity for me to tell you a little bit more about umami, and it'll be a refresher for those of you who already went through the umami class. So the first time I really understood umami, and the first time I got my husband, who at the time was not vegan, but is now vegan, really excited about eating more vegetables, was when I used this umami technique. So umami is what is considered the fifth flavor. So we know sweet and sour and bitter and salty. And in Japanese culinary cuisine, the term umami translated can mean meatiness or a sense of savoriness. Some people take it so far as to say it even gives you a sense of satiety. It makes you feel full as a result. The food, so the meatiness doesn't have to be meat. It's about the ingredients or the way in which you cook the ingredients that brings out this essence of umami. So umami foods can be things like dried mushrooms or fresh mushrooms, soy sauce or tamari sauce, anything pickled, pickles, or like a fermented kimchi, or miso paste, which is also fermented. Even yogurt can do that. Very ripe tomatoes, like if you love to dip French fries in ketchup, you're dipping them into umami, like you're craving that kind of combo of what the two do. So very ripe tomatoes, which means when you make a really hearty homemade marinara sauce with tomatoes, you're creating basically a bowl of umami. Smoked seasonings and spices like chipotle, which is why I used it in the salad, the chipotle pepper, smoked paprika versus straight up paprika, nutritional yeast, which I'm actually going to use in this the salad. So hopefully as you're hearing these ingredients, it kind of makes your taste buds pop a little bit and you think, yeah, I can get that. I can get why a little wine drizzled over some mushrooms when I'm sauteing them. But also techniques of cooking can bring out umami. Roasting, grilling, which we're about to kind of grill on the stovetop, and caramelizing. So one of my favorite recipes, and I think we used it in the umami class, I'm not entirely certain, is a recipe from my book, Vegan Pressure Cooking, that I call umami anasazi beans, but you can use pintos or whatever. And basically it has 7 different ingredients that have umami. I think it's soy sauce, paprika, miso, beef style veggie broth, liquid smoke brings out umami. But it all started with caramelizing onions before we put everything in the pot. The caramelization process brings out umami. So all of this to say that as I was learning about umami early in my vegan journey, my husband did a lot of cooking, and so he was trying to cook for me, but he always kind of focused on, like, he had the protein down and he had the starches down, but not the veggies so much. And then I started hearing about umami, so I tried something and it worked. So I'm going to show you today. So first off, I want to show you that I am hoping you guys can see all of this okay, because it's very dark in my kitchen because of this rain we're expecting. Here, let's put this beautiful salad right over here so you guys can gaze at it from afar. Okay, so the corn's done. I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. Don't let me forget. But this is going to be very simple, but hopefully will give you a really great example of how umami can happen from cooking and from a little flavor. So as I said, when Dave would cook, like, vegetables weren't necessarily his jam. And so I would be like, can we have a salad? And he's like, I don't really like salads. So one day I decided to take some of this concept of umami to work. So I'm going to show you, but I'm also going to show you. So for those of you who use no oil, just, you know, it's going to be okay. But for those of you who use a little, I'm actually just going to do a spray on my cast iron skillet. And I'm actually going to get this cast iron skillet on high, because if you were doing this on your grill, it would be hot out there. I'm hearing hammering. I think that's my neighbor. Can you guys hear hammering, or is that just me? Okay, no, you can't hear it. Great. Okay, so now let me show you what you can do with this. Now, if you were going to go out on the grill, what I would say is don't worry about the using the spray oil. I would actually drizzle a little. But what I want you to see what I'm doing with this head of romaine lettuce. I'm cutting it right down the middle. And then I'm going to have the flat side up. So if you were going to take this out on the grill, you could just take a little olive oil and drizzle it over if you want. So what I'm going to do, though, is take a little minced garlic, and I'm just going to kind of dollop it on the romaine. Roasted garlic is a way to add some umami to what you're cooking. So I'm going to do this. And this is something, by the way, that you can prepare earlier in the day if you are getting ready for a barbecue or a picnic. So I'm going to get a little lemon juice on this, and I'm going to use my handy dandy juicer because I absolutely love it and it makes things way easier for me. And I'm just going to drizzle this over both sides of the romaine. I might even put a little bit more when I'm done. We'll see. Then I'm going to take some kosher salt. If you don't eat salt, skip this step. And I'm just going to sprinkle it over. And then just a little black pepper. Truthfully, I was going to do some fresh ground black pepper today, and I broke my thingy. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here, get this out of the way for a moment, so you can see that it's simply a little lemon juice, some minced garlic, salt and pepper, and I sprayed a little olive oil spray on the cast iron grill pan. And I realized I didn't show you that. I'm so sorry. Hold on just a second. So why do I keep calling it a grill pan? Because it looks like a grill, and we're going to get grill marks. So sometimes, you know, you guys hear me say a lot, we eat with our eyes first. So it's a way, even if I'm not using a grill, I'm going to be able to sort of make the visual pop out a little bit. So I'm going to just check to see how hot this is. Sounds good. Okay, so what I'm going to do, we'll see if my theory works. I'm going to put it flat side down. Both pieces, I'm just going to snuggle it up in there. And I'm going to do 1 minute. I've told you guys this for years and years when I do this. So we're just going to let it go for a minute. I might move it around a little bit because I never trust myself. But I want to show you the corn so you can get an idea how beautiful this ended up coming out. So this is simple roasted corn using the air fryer with just a little vegan butter that I mixed with chipotle powder and basted it on. So I steamed the corn first, then I did a quick 10-minute. And so you would just slice this corn off and add it to that salad that we had, but I already did that. So this is going to probably go with some tofu for dinner tonight. So, okay. So while we're waiting, oh, someone messaged me. Oh, I won't say since you sent me that message privately, but thank you. I saw what you said about your friend referring you, and I'm so happy you're here. So Kat asked, what did you ask, Kat? You said I did and they were good and easy. I wonder what that was. George Foreman Grill, absolutely. Honestly, any kind of, oh, it's 1 minute. So I want to turn this around so you guys can kind of see what's happening. And I'm gonna look at that char mark. Oh my gosh, I hope you can see it. And now I'm gonna do just 30 seconds, which I can't really do. So let's try it on this one. It's kind of silly. By the time I'm done, it started, right? But I'm a Virgo. I have to do what I have to do. So it's counting 30 seconds. Okay, so we're about to turn this into a really, really fun salad. A couple additions that, or one addition that I didn't put on the ingredients. But oh, someone has an, you know, I had an outdoor grill when I lived in New York and I loved it. It was like a plug-in. So it wasn't, you said electric, right? It wasn't charcoal or anything like that. I just plugged it in, but I just loved it because it was so big and I could kind of make some mistakes and not worry about all the smokiness. So, okay, that's 30 seconds. So now I want to show you what I do with this. I take the romaine, put it back on the cutting board, and I want you to see what it looks like. It's so beautiful and it smells so good, you guys. This epitomizes umami, just the smell right now. But what's really fun now is, well, one, let's turn this off. And I want to get this garlic out that's kind of in the grill because, hello, and let's see, how can I get that? This is really heavy, actually. Let's see if I can get some of that. Well, we'll try that in a minute because what I want to show you is I'm going to now slice this up and turn it into a salad. So we're not eating it like this. I mean, you know, you've probably seen this. It's not like I'm showing you something you've never seen before, but usually people just put that on your plate, right? But I want to show you what I mean by turning something. Some people may say, well, I'm not really into salads, but let's give them what they're expecting. Let's give them chopped lettuce, but we've added flavor. We've quickly grilled it. And then, you know, we just did that little pinch of salt. So then I'm going to show you a couple other things that's going to make it really, really fun and make the flavor pop and be the kind of thing that you might want to put on the picnic table tomorrow. I'm going to take some nutritional yeast flakes, and I'm doing flakes on purpose because I want that texture and those pieces, and then some chopped cashews. And then I'm just going to toss it up like this. And I'm going to go like this so I can get all that nutritional yeast on there. Nutritional yeast, if you guys are new to this, is it's not yeast like gluten yeast. It's a kind of, truthfully, it's kind of processed. So when people love it and say they don't eat processed foods, I don't think they realize it. But it's a way to bring a cheesiness and a nuttiness to food. And it also can be a source of B12 if you get fortified. But there it is. So let's plate this salad. And I'll take a bite because I get to. And we'll just put it right here. And when I'm plating something like romaine, I want to make sure that you can kind of see the char pieces because I'm trying to dazzle people, right? And I want some of these different colors of green. And then I'm going to just put a little fresh pepper on top. And then you have a grilled romaine salad. So now I'm going to take a bite and then you know what I'm going to do? Sit down and answer your questions. Where'd my fork go? All right. So did anybody cook along with me or are you guys just watching? Hemp hearts would be amazing in this. I use hemp hearts for my massage kale salads. You just taste the char. Yummy. Okay. Let me move this. I brought a stool because I'm going to sit down and talk to you. But I'm wondering, should we do the giveaway now? What do you think? Should I do the giveaway? So I'm trying to move this so I don't look so crazy from this monitor. But we already know I'm a little crazy anyway, right? So why not? Okay. So I feel so far away from you, but I can see some of you. The grilled corn would be amazing in this salad. That is a great idea. Okay, so let's do the giveaway. So here's how the giveaway is going to work. And then I'm going to answer your questions. And I think I'm going to answer your questions for 15 minutes. I'm going to try really hard to keep this class to an hour so you can go back to your families and also to go back to the book that I'm writing. Okay, so I'm about to go to the Google form. I'm going to download it. It will let me download. And let's see, online classes. I'm going to put final. And I hope this doesn't take too long. I hope whoever wins is actually here and from the US or Canada. Okay, so now we're opening up this file. Don't forget to show the book. Thank you, Catherine. You guys are like my PR team. All right, so while this is unzipping, why don't I also give you a couple of, where is it unzipping? What's happening? Oh, I think I know what's happening. Let's make sure it's saved. Sorry, you guys, thanks for being good sports. You guys are always good sports. Okay, so here we go. Final Ask Me, unzip. And sometimes things don't go exactly the way you want them to. Are we unzipping? We're unzipping. Okay. All right. So now I have, oh, it went over here. You guys are really being great sports. So I have 106 entries. So I'm going to be using random generator. I'll show you what that looks like. Oh, I don't know if you can see. Well, you're gonna have to trust me. It says that there's 106. So I'm gonna hit generate, and the winner is number 23. So you guys can see. So now I'm gonna go see number 23. Email address started with L Jones and then a 3. Is there anybody here? Because I'm going to ask you to tell me the rest of it. You can tell me privately. Is L Jones Linda? Is this Linda who won before? Linda Jones. Can you message me privately and tell me your whole email address, and also tell me if you are in Colorado Springs, or not Colorado Springs, sorry, the US or Canada? The winner's Linda Jones. So you guys, thanks for doing the survey, and congrats, Linda. This is very exciting. So Linda, I have your email address, and I will email you and get all this to you. You are the proud winner of a multi-cooker. Okay, so now it's time for me to answer some of your questions. So I'm gonna look on my notes, and Linda, that is crazy. Is this the same Linda who won the last one? And if so, I think that's fine, because you can give it to someone in your family, because if you're that lucky, you deserve to be that lucky. Cool. So that, I mean, you guys got to admit, that's pretty hilarious. So, okay, yay. So here are some of the questions that you guys had, and let's talk about umami. Well, we already talked about umami. Desiree, do you feel good about the umami answer? I hope that was helpful. And you can go back to the YouTube video that, and it's on my website, that answers the umami question. So here are some of the questions you guys asked. And so please don't ask me questions right now in the chat. Let me get to some of the questions that you guys asked, and then I will see if there's time for more. So I did want to give you a couple more links for people who are interested. This is the Melfi 2.0 that is, it has, you can program it so that it does quick release without you having to do it. So that's kind of cool. If you guys are not on my newsletter yet, sign up so that for the next class, you'll get the ingredients sent to you right in the email list. And then here is my Facebook group. We continue the conversation there. It's the best place to interact with me. Okay, so let's get to some of your questions. I bolded some that I felt like I could respond to in this period of time. So, so many people asked how to keep this simple. And that is such a great question. And what I really hope is that what I showed you today showed what some of the simplicity could be. And so for those of you who are new to vegan cooking or vegan eating, and maybe new to these videos, I just want to remind you that eating vegan, it's actually can be pretty simplistic. I never like to say simple or easy, because everybody lives in different areas and different communities, and what one person thinks easy might not be from somebody else. And sometimes we're coming from places of privilege that we do know we have, or that we don't know. So I rarely try to say it's easy, but I try to say that we can try to break it down to some simplicity. So when you think about eating a balanced vegan plant-based diet, It's 5 food groups. It's vegetables, no surprise. It's fruits, no surprise. The main source of protein, though you can get protein in all kinds of plant-based foods, is beans and legumes. And then we have grains and starches, but grains specifically have all kinds of nutrients and vitamins that we want. And then we have nuts and seeds. So when you are eating these 5 things, that is how you can create a delicious meal. So when you think of it in those terms, like when you look at this salad that I made, it covered almost everything. If we added those cashews that I put in the other salad, we've got vegetables, we've got a starchy corn, we have zucchini, we have beans that just came out of a can, you guys, rinsed and drained and thrown into a bowl. And then we have corn. So tons of vegetables. We have a legume. We don't have a grain here. We could easily add some quinoa if we wanted, although it's really a seed, not a grain. We could add some millet if we want, but oftentimes when we're trying to do a balanced meal, your grain could just be something that's starchy instead. So it could be a sweet potato. By the way, wooden roasted sweet potatoes, minced up, like really diced finely. Wouldn't that be amazing? So, so try to think in terms of that when you're thinking about, okay, I want to eat more this way. I'm trying to move this so I don't look like I have a glare. I want to eat this way. Think of, you start with canned beans, start with easy, quick cooking grains, sweet potatoes and lots of veggies and fruits, and then nuts and seeds. You can eat them whole. Every morning, true story, going through a fruit kick. People who have known me for years know there was actually a period of time when I said I was the world's worst vegan because I just did not like to eat fruit. But now, to me, nothing makes me happier than a big old bowl of like 4 or 5 pieces of fruit chopped up with big old walnuts and lots of flaxseed. So I just kind of use that as I kind of think of breakfast for me as my vitamin, and my vitamin is my fruits, and it's my flaxseed, and it's my walnuts. And so even that is just a simple way, or making oatmeal and putting some dried fruit in it with some oats, with some seeds or with some nuts, is a way to do that. So so starting with that. And then some people ask about how to save money. That was one of the other questions, especially if you have a big family. So while I mentioned getting the canned beans, and there's nothing wrong with that, to really eat this way and to save some money and be able to cook big batches, that's when you really do want to think about using beans and grains that are in bulk, in big bags, like a pound at a time, right? And that's why something like a multi-cooker can come in really handy, because you're able to cook really quickly some foods that would normally take a long time. If you did not have a pressure cooker and you were going to make dry beans for your family, you're going to definitely want to soak them overnight. And then it's going to take an hour, if not longer. If you live at 6,000 feet like I do, it's going to take hours and hours to cook. In a multi-cooker with a pressure cooker function or a pressure cooker, you can soak your beans and cook them in a matter of minutes. And so a way to cook in large batches for your family and to save money is to buy big bulk bags of dry grains and dry beans. I see some other questions. Oh, everyone's just celebrating Linda. Like, why not? Because Linda is awesome anyway. So that is awesome. Okay, so breakfast ideas. That came up a lot. I mentioned, simply doing fruits with nuts and seeds. Oatmeal, you can never go wrong. But I want to tell you, and I don't know if we've ever done this, maybe we should do a breakfast class. Savory oats. Did I make savory oats for you guys? Or did I just talk about it in the pressure cooker class? I know I do it in my classes here in person at the Colorado Springs Vegan Cooking Academy. Savory oats are, oh, thanks, Mari. That's so sweet. Savory oats are so much fun because you might get into a rut and you're making oatmeal all the time. So you're like, okay, I made my oatmeal and then I just poured some plant-based milk over it and I just put some fruit on top of it and I put a little cinnamon and I put my pecans every morning, blah, 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 blah. So you can make your oatmeal, but you can start with a mirepoix. And a mirepoix is just onion, celery, carrot, or you could do the Holy Trinity and do some celery, bell pepper, and onion, and start a saute, and then put your oats in and use vegetable broth instead of water. And then you can just serve it with a little nutritional yeast and some salt and pepper. And so you're getting the same benefits of eating a whole grain, eating your oats, but it tastes completely different. And so it just kind of helps with some of that fatigue. Denise says that she eats oat groats every morning. I'm just seeing if any other questions are coming up with some of the things that oh, you guys like the idea of a breakfast class. Okay, I like that. Okay, cool. So I'm still kind of going through here. Someone asked about miso paste and asked, What was the question exactly? I just lost it. I've heard that miso paste should be a pantry staple for vegan cooking. What are your favorite ways to use it? So miso paste is actually an umami ingredient. And so that's one of the reasons I love it. And let me just see what I have on hand right now and I'll show you. Uh, and I recall last week, someone said they wanted to do a refrigerator tour with me sometime. I'm not sure if I'm willing to open myself up to that scrutiny right now. But I have two different kinds of miso paste right now. I have a chickpea, which is a soy-free miso. I have no problem with soy at all. I just like to have variety in flavors and things that I cook with. And then I have a red miso. And these are fermented, you guys. They will last in your refrigerator for such a long time. So when you go shopping for them for the first time and you look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, that's $6.99. You guys, this is probably, I've probably made 12 or 15 things with it, and I've barely put it. I was eyeballing it. You can't see because it's dark in here. And by the way, I just heard thunder. So hopefully the Wi-Fi keeps working. But I can eyeball it like teaspoons or tablespoons, and I probably only made a few things. And so it really lasts a long time. And then I'll show you what the gluten-free one looks like. Or not gluten-free, sorry, soy-free. This is made with chickpeas. And so it's fermented. So they stay in your refrigerator a really long time. You're almost always gonna find miso in the refrigerated section. There is one brand, I can't remember if it's Eden. There's one brand that they have the miso, it's shelf stable and it's almost like it's in a pouch, but once you open it, then it still has to be refrigerated. So look for it in the refrigerated section, like where you'll find tofu and things like that. And people are agreeing that it lasts forever. How to make frozen vegetables taste good? That's a question from Beverly. That's a great question, Beverly. And I think it depends on the frozen vegetable. This is really bugging me, the color, sorry. I feel like I have I'm like the FBI is investigating me and they have a flashlight in my face. It's never happened before. Really, it hasn't yet. So with frozen vegetables, I think you want to think about, I don't necessarily use a frozen vegetable as a side when I'm making food, unless it's something that I could do, like say green beans. I have a lot of frozen green beans in my freezer, mostly because I'll throw them in a stew or a soup. And so I tend to use frozen vegetables and frozen corn, frozen mirepoix. You can actually buy frozen mirepoix. I tend to put those in soups or stews or chilies that I know are going to get a lot of flavor elsewhere. But green beans, what I really like about green beans, it's getting grainy, so I'm sorry. I thought I would try to come over here. Is I can put them in a skillet, in a really high heat skillet, and then just throw some garlic and some almond slivers in, and maybe a little drizzle of balsamic vinegar, and it just makes the flavor pop, and the texture doesn't sort of have that typical sort of frozen then cooked vegetable feel to it. But that's how I usually use it, is either using it in a lot of other recipes, or like in a bigger batch and it's one of many ingredients, or like something that's like fresh, like a green bean. I love frozen peas. In fact, in my new book that I'm working on right now that should come out in the fall, I'm having a lot of fun with a veggie dip that's going to have some protein in it and be really delicious, but very fun for entertaining. So frozen peas definitely have a place in my kitchen. Someone asked about mirepoix. It's spelled Mirepoix. It's French, and it means it is onion, carrot, and celery, and the ratio is 1 part onion to half parts of carrot and celery. So if I were putting a mirepoix in one of my recipes, I would say 1 cup diced onion, half cup diced carrot, half cup diced celery. So I encourage people, and I'll go ahead to another class or another topic. People are asking about chopped veggies and kind of like, oh my God, I'm spending my life chopping veggies. I am a huge fan of using my food processor for specifically that. When I do my bulk and batch cooking on the weekends, I pull out a ton of vegetables and I cut carrots into carrot sticks. I cut celery into celery sticks. I use my food processor to just throw in, to put a mirepoix that I put in baggies, and I measure it out so that I've got baggies that I can freeze or have in the refrigerator that are ready to roll mirepoix, so that when I come home on a Wednesday night from work, back when I used to go to work and now I'm here, you know what I mean? I would just dump that bag into a skillet and be ready to roll. So that's what a mirepoix is. Holy Trinity is used in Cajun and Creole cooking, and it's the same ratio, but it's onion and it's bell pepper and it's celery. Okay, so I'm going to take a few more questions because we're at the magic time of 2 o'clock. Someone asked about the best way to roast vegetables in the oven without using olive oil to get tasty results. I actually, as you all know, I enjoy me some oil, but I don't really use it a lot when I roast my vegetables. I rely on vinegar. I think vinegar does a beautiful job of adding flavor. It caramelizes and glazes the vegetables. So what I tend to do is use a balsamic or a rice vinegar, or some of you remember from umami class, I make my own infused balsamic vinegar where I'll put some dried fruit with some balsamic vinegar for a few days. And then I'll put that fruit and the balsamic vinegar over the vegetables. And then I'll use a couple of dried herbs or spices, really big kind of chunky pieces. So you kind of get that fragrance while it's baking. So to me, that's my go-to is vinegar for roasted vegetables. And let's see, I talked about how to feed a family on a budget a little bit. I mean, obviously, I'm just touching on some things, you guys. Let's see. What is your go-to omnivore pleasing meal or dish? So I was trying to address that because that came up a lot. Is like, how do you make vegan food taste yummy for non-vegans? And I think first we need to have a moment with ourselves to remind ourselves that vegan food isn't weird or unusual. People are eating vegan food every single day. They just don't call it that because they might have also served it with a slab of bacon. But the lettuce, before they put it in with the vinegar and the bacon to make like a wilted lettuce, it was vegan, right? So sometimes I think we need to we feel like we need to overcompensate. But I think what you really mean is, how do you get someone to feel satisfied after having eaten a vegan meal? And I'm going to go back to two things. One is to stick to the fundamentals of what vegan food is and think about umami. And what I mean by the fundamentals is, we don't want to give somebody like jackfruit. People love jackfruit. I'm not making jackfruit for my friends who are not vegan because it barely has anything in it. You know, it's like a really great low calorie food, but it's not like super high fiber. It's not super filling. So I'm not going to give that to someone as pork, a vegan version of pork, when I know they're going to be hungry in an hour. So I'm going to think ahead and think, what would make somebody who's not vegan feel like they had a satisfying experience? I want them to feel full after having something really tasty. So how am I going to have them feel full? I'm going to focus on the vegan food groups. I'm going to make sure we have delicious high fiber vegetables. I'm going to make sure we have a hearty bean or a tempeh. You know, tempeh and tofu falls under beans and legumes because it's made from whole soybeans. And then I'm going to make sure that there's a great starchy vegetable like a sweet potato, or that we've used some kind of grain. And then how did I bring umami into it? So if I'm going to use millet, for instance, I'm going to toast that millet first. So it pops with flavor and there's an aroma that's toasty and roasty and you can just smell it when you walk into the house. And then I'm going to combine that with a really flavorful bean or tempeh or tofu, and I'm going to make sure that I've used some umami elements within that. Did I grill the tofu? Did I add some liquid smoke or some maple syrup and maybe a little vegan Worcestershire sauce to the beans to make that pop? Did I grill a little bit of a tomato before I put it on the plate because it brought out the lycopene as well as bringing out the umami? And so when you, these are not complicated things to do. They're just things for you to learn to do. But all of those things were really simple. Grill a tomato, add some vegan Worcestershire sauce to beans, toast your millet before you cook it. And you just gave them something that makes them feel full, tastes great from the umami, and is really satisfying. Is that helpful to you guys? I hope so. And oh, someone asked about soy curls, and that might be my last question, or the last one that I'll answer, because it was also sent on the survey as well. So soy curls, you know, I always say I don't rely on vegan meat to replace animal meat. I try to think of ways in which the texture could surprise people, and so they're feeling something satisfying from it, but I don't want it to be like the #1 star. So for instance, like I could just eat soy curls. I could just eat them, like rehydrate them, put some spices on it, and I could just eat them. If I have a non-vegan coming over to eat the soy curls, I'm going to think differently. I'm going to think, maybe I'll make a white chili today. So I'm going to focus on some green chilies that have been roasted from a local place here in town, because green chilies are our jam, right? And I'm going to add like a chicken style vegetable broth, because this is going to be a white chili. I'm going to use some white cannellini beans. I'm going to make sure I have some smoked paprika, smoked chipotle powder, And then I'm going to rehydrate those soy curls and I'm going to pulse them in my food processor and turn it to where it looks a little bit like a ground meat, and then put it in the chili. So when they're biting into it, they're getting a bite of a roasted green chili. They're getting beans, they're getting smokiness, and they're getting texture that they would expect from a chili, but it's not like it's this piece of thing that's supposed to kind of look like vegan chicken. So that's just one example. I hoped that helped. Okay, so it is shortly after 2. It's been a very long time since we have done a 1-hour class. And let me just look at, so you guys, do you want me to do, so I kind of need to like help. I mean, because I'm really overwhelmed right now. So what do you think? Should I do a breakfast class next week? Does that sound good? Vegan breakfast? Okay. Okay, good. And then someone wants grains. Grains is actually a great topic for the next one. So maybe what's going to happen is next week will be vegan breakfast. And then the week after will be the wonderful world of grains, but I'll think of a G because I'm a writer and I love alliteration. I am going to unabashedly drop you a link if you would like to give me a tip for today. And I want to thank those of you. I can feel it on my Apple Watch. Some of you are already doing that, and I want to thank you for that. And I hope that this was helpful for a little bit of your spring veggies, and also answering some of your questions. And I want to try to keep doing that. So I may try to do, you know, like the recipes we did today, where we're doing a couple, we're done cooking within 45 minutes, so we can just chat and talk. And I just want to see if there's anything like burning for you guys right now. How are you doing? You know, I mean, it's what, 11, 10 weeks. Some of you are in New York. I know it's really hard. Some of you are opening up. You're well, oh my God, the new book. Someone just asked. You guys are the best. Thank you. Okay, I got this. I went to my office. I haven't been going to my office because I'm basically trying to pretend like I'm sick and that I think everybody else is sick so that I can stay safe so I can go home and see my dad. So I've been really like staying at home. So I go to my office on Saturdays to check my mail. And so I'm going to drop you the link right now. So I had no idea, because my publisher did not tell me, was that my book, which is coming out on July 7th, is here. This is my baby, Vegan Baking for Beginners. So you guys, one of my classes actually is going to be probably in the next couple of weeks. So actually grains might not be it, you guys. I might do vegan breakfast on Sunday. And then what I'm going to do the week after is egg and butter replacements, not just in baking, but in all of our cooking. But that was a big one. Tons of you are asking me about aquafaba and eggs. And I have a big section about that in here. So that could be a fun way to introduce you to the book as we're building up to the launch date, but also give you some ideas on how to use vegan eggs and vegan butter and vegan yogurts and etc. To replace in all kinds of cooking, not just baking. Does that sound good? It sounds like people are liking that. So good. Okay, so this is vegan baking. I think I dropped the link. Did I drop the link for it? Or did I send it to somebody privately? When you guys message me privately, I accidentally write back to you privately. So there it is. Okay, yes, and someone did ask me again. I'm going to do the tip one more time. So there is my new book. The link, I just popped it. Here's the tip. That's the last time I'm going to stop doing that. And next week, vegan breakfast. The week after, vegan, we'll just call it replacements. So it'll be eggs and butter and other kinds of dairy. And then we'll do grains. So we've got at least 3 classes. I'll get them up on my website soon. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you for dealing with this dreary, dark day in Colorado Springs. People are waving. Dale, I love knowing Dale. Dale and I live in Colorado Springs. Dale and her husband Howard have taken cooking classes with me. And I started these cooking classes because I miss my community here in Colorado Springs, people I see every month in person teaching cooking classes. And I'm going to be honest, you guys, I believe this is not over, this pandemic. I believe it's going to get worse. And so there's a really good chance that I will not do cooking classes in person in 2020. And I feel fine with that. I would much rather hang out with you guys here on Sundays and know that we're all safe. And as I've mentioned in the past, the structure may change, maybe July or August, and I might make it a sliding scale class where I'll have 3 options when you sign up. You'll have to register. That's how you'll get the link, the Zoom link. And it'll be like, if you can pay $10, that would be great. If you can pay $5, that would be great. If you can't pay anything, $0's fine. And if you want to do anything else, that's fine too. So that I can keep you safe, me safe, and then I'll rethink it in 2021. But anyway, Dale, knowing that you are just miles away from me and I get to see your smiling face. And then my friend Laura, who's in Minneapolis, and I get to see her every week more than I've ever seen her in years. And now since we're doing that, I'm actually going to go to the gallery view so I can see your faces. For those of you who have your cameras on, I'm seeing Donna and Allison and Denise and Margaret and Vicky. Oh my gosh, and Kim and Beverly and Mo. I can't get all of you, but I'm going to keep going. Okay, lots of cameras are off. I don't blame you. You're probably in your pajamas and you didn't do your hair today. I get it. It's fine. Okay, this is fun though. I wanted to do the gallery. Okay, you guys are amazing. I will see you next week. I thank you for your ongoing support. And next Sunday, same time, same place.